Hello to everybody, this is Dr. Maryam from Mohammed Bani Hashem Advocates and Legal Consultants, and today we will have a live stream related to one of the most important topics in my opinion. It's how the courts in UAE work, what is the procedure, what is the way of submitting the documents and different kind of requests. Also, what are the latest changes related to the e-court system? This question we received from one of our followers from YouTube channel, and I decided to make it as a live stream because this topic is really very wide. So we can discuss for long hours related to the courts and how the procedure in the cases is ongoing. First of all, I want to differentiate. There is certain kind of courts and rules related to the federal and local courts in UAE, and also in UAE we have other kind of courts such as DIFC and ADGM court that are governed with totally different rules and procedures. So the work in these courts and the way of submission of the documents in that courts are totally different from the local one, from the federal one. So if we will speak about UAE, we have courts in each emirate, and we will make it not as a lecture. So in case somebody of you has any questions or want to ask any question related to the topic of today's session, please feel free. We will discuss any question that we have in chat box. So feel free if you have any comments or questions related to the current topic. So in UAE, we have one of the major and basic laws that actually describe the rules related to the procedure of the courts. And this law is the civil procedural law, and it's governed for the all courts, federal level or local level, it doesn't matter. So the work for the courts in UAE is general. It doesn't matter in which court you are going or in which court your case was raised, or you have to defend yourself as a defendant. The procedure will be unique and will be one for all the courts, federal and the local courts. So there are local courts in Emirate of Dubai and in Emirate of Abu Dhabi. There are federal courts such as Ajman Court, Sharjah Court. In Abu Dhabi there is also federal court. So it depends about the each emirate and the rules in each emirate. However, the procedure, as I said, is common for all the courts. We will not speak about each court because I believe so then our live stream will take hours. For example, we will take as a basic, let's say, Dubai courts. I hope none of you object. Let us take Dubai courts, okay? And we'll discuss about the procedure and how to submit the documents. Basically, if we are speaking about Dubai courts, there is something different in Dubai courts than in other emirates, and also it's about the procedure in the cases as well. So we can't say it's all the same for all courts in UAE. However, the procedural rules are general. So if we are speaking about Dubai courts, there have been also some changes lately in the procedural law. It happened in 2018 and it happened recently in 2020. It's all related with the current situation in UAE, and it's all related with the way of submission of the documents, the way of attendance, the way of defending yourself in the court, court system, etc. These changes we will come to. We will go through other questions, question number 2 and question number 3 of today's live stream. So if we are talking about the procedure, We have different cases in UAE. For example, we have civil cases, we have criminal cases, we have commercial cases, we have family cases, we have labor cases, we have rent cases, real estate cases, number of different kinds of cases. However, within the Emirate, these things are also a little bit different, but as I said, we will concentrate on Dubai courts. So civil procedural law is the one that describes the procedure in almost all the cases. Of course, the exception is criminal cases. There is a different procedural law for the criminal cases, so we will come back to this shortly. If somebody of you has active case or had to raise a case in the court, you will definitely have to understand a little bit about the procedure. So it will help you to understand if you have a lawyer or you don't have a lawyer, then what is going on, because sometimes it might be a little bit weird, and as our clients, sometimes they might be frustrated with like, why this is now, why you can't do it later, or for example, why you are doing this little bit later, why you can't submit it right now. So there are certain kind of rules that we have to follow as a lawyers, or if you have a case and you are a party in the case, you have to understand this. So basically, the procedure covers the stages in the court, how the case will move on. For example, you raise a claim. What will happen lately? What will be next? So this procedure is for stages, for understanding what will happen in the case and how the case will reach the judgment. It's very important. Sometimes if you breach the procedure, then it will influence on your judgment. So basically it will be negative. You will lose the case if you don't know the procedure. So I believe so knowing the procedure is really highly very important. So when you raise a claim and you already have a case in the court, the next step will be the announcement of the parties, and you have to announce the other party, or if you are a defendant, you will receive announcement. This is a very picky and difficult part about announcement. Maybe someday we will make a different program related to announcement, because here you might have a lot of gaps and a lot of special things. And also there have been some modifications related to announcement. For example, you can receive it now on your phone, you can receive it now on your email. So basically it will not be in the paper, it might be in electronic way. But this is just an example. This topic is really very wide. So the new thing what we have in the local courts is case management section. This is something that we did not have earlier, and a case management section is something that you have to pass, then this case will be transferred and referred to the certain judge. So here in this part, you have to prove that all the announcement procedures have been done properly, and then the case will be referred to the judge. Once it's with the judge, then you have right for reply, you have right for submission of the documents, evidence. It will not be one time, but it depends about the case. It depends on the complexity of the case. It depends about the number of the defendants and claimants in the case. It depends a lot about a lot of different points. However, I'm just giving you an idea. So you can submit the reply, you can submit an evidence. But later on, what will happen? Later on, if everything is clear, maybe there will not be any additional stages and the case will be referred for the judgment. If this is a labor claim, for example. As I said earlier, the procedure is one for this kind of cases. For the cases that I described in the beginning of this video. So the case might be finished soon. And now in 2020, UAE is trying to get the justice to be done on early basic, so quickly. You should receive your judgment as soon as possible. However, if the case is really difficult, there is a question in the chat box. Thank you so much. This live stream is basically in English. If you want to ask any question, you can also ask it in your language, in Russian language, for example, but I will reply in English because this channel is mostly we are doing here videos in English. Unfortunately, we have a separate channel for the Russian speaking audience. If you want, you can just leave your message. After the live stream, I will share with you the details about the Russian speaking channel. However, please, if you want to listen to the live stream in English, you just can share your questions if you can in any language, but I will give a reply in English. Okay? So coming back to the point, sometimes in the case we might have additional stages. For example, we can have experts, we can have witnesses, we can have for example, investigation or any kind of things like request to see the original of the documents. A lot of things, a lot of stages might be possible, depends on the type and complexity of the case. However, it's not obligatory, it's not for every case is different, but the stages are possible to let the justice to be fair in any kind of case. So the last stage, of course, is the judgment in the case, and the judgment might be appealed. There is a possibility for appeal and cassation in almost every case. However, there are some differences, depends on the type of the case, whether it's a labor claim or it's a civil claim or it's a commercial claim, etc. There will be some differences and limitations. So now the latest amendment enabled the party to bring a cassation request only if the claim amount is more than 500,000 dirham. So if your case is less than 500,000, you will only have option for first court and appeal court, and then this judgment will be final. So if you did not work out very well during these stages, then unfortunately you can't do anything with this judgment. This case will be final. And after this, there is execution of the judgment that was the last in the case. The execution is a separate part, but it's a part of the court procedure. This is basically all about procedure in the cases. However, if we are talking about the personal status cases, for example, the procedure there is also different. And the very interesting part, I spoke about this earlier, that labor and family cases, they have additional part which is like, let's say, possible settlement for the parties. So you have to make it before you raise the claim in the court. However, sometimes we can say that this case management session or part or stage is also something to make possible settlement between the parties in the court. However, this is mostly for the announcement. This is the role of this session. And if any one of you has any questions related to the current subject, please feel free, share your questions in the live stream, in the chat box, and we'll discuss it with the big pleasure. If we are talking about the DIFC and ADGM courts, the procedure there is different and the law there is also different. But these courts are also in UAE and they are part of the jurisdiction in UAE. They are part of possible claims and possible procedure, like case procedure in UAE. So if we're speaking about DIFC courts, for example, there is a separate law related to the procedure in the DIFC courts. It's a totally different law than the federal one. And mostly it's about the procedure in the court. This court is based on the common law and based from English law. So we can't say there's nothing common with the federal law. However, as it's in UAE, the federal law is also important even in the DIFC courts. So just to give you a clue about the stages in the DIFC courts, there is also procedure for the submission of the claim. There is also procedure for announcement. There is also even a case management section there, but the role and the main idea about this is totally different. So we can say that in DIFC courts, the case management section is mostly related to a very heavy part, and you should prepare well, because from this start the case will move on and you have to discuss all the procedures in the case. You can agree with the other party about it. If you don't reach an agreement, you have to discuss it with the judge, and the judge will decide, okay, here we will have expert, here we will have witnesses, here we will have submission of the documents, here we will have this and this, and the judgment will be on this date. So basically you will see how the case will move on. This is also a difference between DIFC courts and local courts. In local courts you have every time the judge decide about the next hearing. So mostly it's around maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, sometimes 4 weeks, but you don't know when will be the final judgment. You know only when will be the next hearing. But in DIFC courts, you can plan somehow. If the plan will not be changed, you can see when you will have a final judgment. However, if the case is really difficult and there is a huge complexity, this schedule, it might be changed. So by the consent of the parties, or by the request of one party, or by the judge himself. So this is very briefly about the case procedure. In the ADGM, they also have different rules, and of course the procedure, thank you, of course the procedure for DIFC courts and ADGM courts, it's in English, and the procedure in the local courts and federal courts is fully in Arabic. So here we don't have any changes. Related to the submission of the documents, I think this is one of the most important parts. Right now, currently in UAE, everything is online, and basically the latest changes that I spoke about earlier in 2020 to the procedural law, it describes the way of submission of the documents, the possibility to attend the hearing, and the way how you can actually request for something or ask for something in the court. So now everything is online, and if you want to submit anything, if you want to request for something, if you want to see what's the other party submitted, you can do it online as a party and as a lawyer. So as we spoke about the Dubai courts, the system is different than, for example, in federal courts. In federal courts they have their system, and in Dubai courts they have Dubai court electronic system. It's different. And there are some like tools that are also different. So you have to see it yourself. But to give you an idea, you can see everything what's in the case. I think it's very positive, because earlier we had a lot of struggling with, for example, the clients or the parties in the case when they want to get some information about the case. So now it's easier. You can anytime take the judgment, you can take anytime the order, the petition, the decision about the each hearing, who attended, who did not attend. You can have even the transcript of the hearing. For example, this lawyer, he said this, and this lawyer, he said this. Everything is in the system. It's related also about the court fees. You can share court fees requests and court fees receipts. Everything is online. So if you are a party and you don't have a lawyer, you can also use a system. It was a question, I think, of one of our followers, like where I can find the system of the court, how I can match into the system. Now you can register yourself. You can attend the hearings also by the link. The court will share with you a link to attend the hearing. You can do it yourself. If you are not speaking, if you are not speaking Arabic, it's not a problem. They will give you translator, interpreter, so you can do it yourself. I think the major thing why the parties, they need a lawyer, because they need somebody to arrange the case in a good way, in professional way, and to make a strategy in the case. However, if your case is not difficult, for example, maybe it's a small labor claim or it's a small rent claim, you can do it yourself. So now you don't have any problems to do it online. So submission of the documents and requests is fully online. The difference between submission of the documents and requests is mostly about the procedure. So for example, if you want to request for something, maybe you will have to pay additional court fees. For example, in the local courts, you want to submit a request for a travel ban. You have to present a proof, you have to submit documents, and you, after it's approved by the court, you have to submit payment. If you want to submit some documents, memorandum, together with the documents, you don't have to pay for this. So you just submit it. You can do it also verbally on the hearing. You can request for something. If you have online hearing and you want to request for something, and this request doesn't need any documents on the top of this, you can do it online. So it will be oral request. If we're talking about DIFC courts, for example, it's the same. Attendance is also online. The submission of the documents is also online. However, as I said, the procedure is different. And of course, it's English language. And different verification for the court fees, and a different way to do it. So for example, technique, the way of writing, the way of requesting is also different, because each court is governed by the different judicial system. So it's just something to give you a clue. And the last point is about court system. I already said about the court system, that now it's fully online. But also I want to tell a few words about, as we are talking in general, there have been some amendments also related to criminal and family cases. This is sometimes where the parties, they have or government lawyer, or maybe they don't have a lawyer at all in family cases, for example. So we had a lot of questions related to family cases, like what will happen for this time when we had quarantine, when we had a situation where the people, they couldn't go to the court. So now still this procedure is fully online. You can also attend in family cases, and you can raise it also online. Also, one more positive thing, that you can email to the court. It's also now very active point. You can email to the court requesting for something, asking for something. If you don't have possibility to do it, and if you are overseas. The criminal cases as well, they will be also linked online through the online hearings. So of course the system for the court system for DIFC courts, ADGM courts, Dubai courts is different. So we can't say that this is one unique system. No, every court has its own technique and its own way and procedure for the submission of the documents. So it's really highly important to know the rules, to know the requirements for the documents, what is there, what you need to add. For example, you need to add some certain information about the other party, you need to add some certain information about your party, you need to add, for example, some documents, or as in DIFC, you need to add statement of truth, so you have to swear that this information is honest and true. So this all you have to know before you jump into the case, otherwise you can lose it, or otherwise you can have not the best outcome that you expected for. But during this year, the modifications that we faced, they really enabled to have transparent information with the parties, between the lawyer and between the client. For the party itself, you can have possibility to attend the hearing whenever you are. So if you are traveling, if you are outside the country, you still can continue in your case. You can request, you can follow up with the case, you can see what happened, you can quickly take any decision from the court, and this is related to all courts right now, so it's really very positive. I hope this video was useful for you all and it did not sound as a lecture, but this is some some information that I wanted to share with you from the practical experience. Of course, we did not cover a lot of things such as expert and witnesses and procedure for appeal, because it's really huge, and this live stream will take hours. But next time, if it will be of your interest, of course, I will share with you this information as well. I hope you are all staying safe. Please take care. Share your questions or your feedback in personal messages, in the email that we also have, and it's available for you all. Thank you so much for your attention. It was Dr. Maryam from Mohammed Bani Hashem Advocates and Legal Consultants. Today we spoke about the work of UAE Courts. Please share your questions and thoughts. Subscribe on our YouTube channel Legal One, on our social on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you so much for your attention, and goodbye.